Hi everyone. I wanted to make a short video here covering some writing tips that I have for you in response to writing project 2. My first tip, and all of these tips are going to be about how to properly use sources. My first tip is that you need to introduce your sources. So if you are conducting research or you're using an outside source to help support your ideas, you usually need to introduce that source. And what that entails is providing the author's name as well as the title of the source. Now that kind of changes based on the style of writing that you're doing or what sort of citation style you're using. But for this class, it's a very good habit to get into introducing all of your sources. And what can also be very helpful is if you actually go a step further and also give your reader a little bit of an explanation as to why that source is going to be relevant or credible, or both. And with that extra little bit of information, that's going to feel like you're using that source more intentionally, that you've thought out why you have decided to include this information. If you just throw in a quote without really saying where the quote comes from, it can feel very jarring to your reader. It can leave your reader confused as to why this information has been included. So you're typically going to want to introduce your source. This is especially true in writing project 2 with your lens text. I would recommend introducing your lens text in your intro paragraph. My next tip for you here is probably actually the most important one. You need to make sure that you're properly citing your sources. This was a pretty big issue that I encountered in a number of people's papers. If you don't use in-text citations, and if you don't have a works cited page, then your paper is technically plagiarized. Whether you meant to do it or not doesn't exactly matter. You need to make sure that you're properly giving credit to the people who created that information. So anytime you're paraphrasing something, quoting from something, using someone's ideas or words that aren't yours, those need to be cited. So if you got your writing project 2 back and you got a 0, that probably means that you didn't include a works cited page. Now I know that can be very easy to forget, and luckily it's a pretty easy fix as well. But I can't grade your paper until it has a works cited page. So please make sure that you do that. My final tip for this video is on how to handle the titles of sources. For a shorter work, like the title of an article, the title of a chapter in a book, the title of a YouTube video, shorter works are going to be in quotation marks. Now longer works would be books, films, names of newspapers, names of websites, those sorts of things go in italics. And a good way to remember that is think of them as smaller sources and bigger sources, and that smaller sources are usually found inside of bigger sources. So an article, you would find that inside of a newspaper or on a website. So the article title would go in quotation marks, and the title of the website or the journal or the newspaper is going to be italicized. A chapter in a book. So the title of the chapter would go in quotation marks, the title of the book would be italicized. Alright, that is it for now. I'm going to be making another video here soon on a different topic.